Welcome back to the Bleav in Badger Football podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined as always by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, great to see you as always.
Yes, sir. Oh man, I'm pumped for this one. We got a guy who has more knowledge about a position that I have zero knowledge on.
I don't think you have zero knowledge. I think you have zero knowledge of defensive backs besides running them over.
I got that knowledge, I guess.
So, we have Brandon White, former Badger receiver, president and CEO of the Receiver Factory, founder. I don't know what exactly your title is, but he's just that dude.
All of them, all of them. We don't ever pick one, right?
Why limit yourself?
Whatever time it is whatever. Okay, maybe it's CEO today, maybe it's founder to the.
So,
but yeah.
Let's get into it.
Let's just get right into it. Be white.
All right. So let me. Well, what I want to get into is why is the Receiver Factory so interested? Like, what's up with that one?
Why do you? I mean, when I watch your Instagram stuff,
maybe I'm just hurt about. It's a big deal, Bernie.
It's a big. When I watch that stuff, I'm like, these guys are doing something I have never seen in my entire life, and if I was a DB, I'd be dead. My legs would break in half. My knees would be shattered.
Mm-hmm.
How on earth did you even come up with this? Like you told me a little bit, like you took from what you learned at college into the next realm. But dude, you're like went into outer space and are now a superhuman wide receiver coach. How on earth did that happen?
Well, Bernie, let me tell you one thing. Like, let's just to keep it real and humble with you. Like, first of all, you saying that, like, this makes me feel good, by the way. Second of all, Bernie, man, did you ask me that when we were standing there? You said, how did it happen? And I had to like take a real reflection. I had to say, well, damn, I don't know. And I remember where like when I came up with the idea was from purely being lazy. I said, I don't want to work for anybody ever. And I'm like, man, I'm not about to work for nobody. So I said, hold on, I'm in Wisconsin. Maybe I'm an ex-athlete with some skill and I could teach your kids. So it started there, like, hey, guys, give me a paycheck for teaching your kids some skills. Then it started, like, really with about 10, 12 kids in Minnesota, like, just randomly. Like, I didn't even charge them. Like, basically, like, hey, y'all get here. Let me show the world what I'm doing. Okay. And then we met a pro. We met another pro. But, Bernie, I don't know how it got here, Bernie. I really don't know, man. Like, 4 years later, we work with the best in the world. And we talk to the best in the world every single day.
That's amazing, dude. So you've worked with a ton of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you most proud of, or who have you seen the most growth out of in your time working with them?
Well, there's a couple, man. First of all, that's a fantastic question. Most proud. Stephon Diggs is hard not to give it to Stephon Diggs, boy.
That's my dude. I'm so pumped to hear that. Yes.
So I call him Diggy now. I call him Diggy. So when I met Diggy committed to the system, man. I met him through Jarvis Landry. And Jarvis like, hey, my boy coming one day. He didn't tell me it was Diggs. So all of a sudden, Diggs show up. I'm like, oh, that's Diggs. It's like 4 years ago now. And then Diggs gonna call me. Diggs in the process. Diggs want to break down this game. He want to break down the field. Like, Diggs is nut. He's a nut about this whole thing. Y'all have no idea. He's really a nut about it. And there's this crazy story about Diggs earlier this year, bro. I'm sitting on the field, Diggs is sitting on the sideline, and I walk over, I'm getting water. We getting water. He's sweating, he looking at the field. And he was talking to himself, and I said, what'd he say? He was looking at the air, and he's like, I'm really like that. And I'm like, huh? Who you talking to, boy? And he's like, I'm really like that. Diggs is a dude who can feed himself and build himself and want it better than you know. He's telling himself, looking in the air, saying, I'm really like that. Yeah, sometimes you gotta cheer for yourself, boy, because nobody else gonna hype you up.
I love that.
Go ahead. Diggs is the guy I love the most.
I love that.
I won't say love the most, but I love Diggs.
One of the things that really impressed me about Diggs, he's someone who came into the league as a burner, but now, I mean, he's got the best footwork of anybody out there.
No accident either. No accident. Yeah, he really takes the time and the attention to that. So he's that guy. Yeah, Diggs is my favorite, man. I love him. It's only a couple of guys. Remember, these guys are millionaires, they're rich, they're doing everything. There's only a couple of these guys who I can call every day and say they're going to answer. So for me, that I appreciate that. Like, hey, Odell. So I talk to Odell every game, whatever. Odell, I know you could be talking to Drake or LeBron, but for some reason you call little old B White from the Receiver Factory on Sunday. So when I get the relationship with these guys, I love it. I love it. It feeds into me. But Diggs is one of those guys that you might love up close in person.
But B White, that's always been you. You've always been someone, like, I think I'm kind of like that. Like, people gravitate towards you. You're a positive dude. You're always in a good mood. I mean, that's what I loved about you when I first met you. Like, you always pumping up other guys. And I think that's what we share. Mm-hmm. But dude, how special is it that you have an influence on the NFL?
Well, Bernie, let me tell you what's so weird about it. So sometimes I look up, right? And it's just, okay, I look around, I'm like, so I see the phone calls from Jerry Jeudy. I see the phone calls from, like I said, OBJ, and I see the whole NFL game. And I say, okay, we got America's game here. And we literally have a handprint on it. Like literally, you could walk out there on Sunday and see everything that we do in like a big influence way. That's a big deal, Bernie. Yeah. Like, but I don't think about it often, but I think it's cool, man. I just think it's cool, B.
Dude, I think it's so awesome. I mean, you are influencing, once again, America's game, the best of the best of the best play in the NFL, and you are coaching them to even be better. Listen, dude, that's why I think what you're doing is so cool. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you. I don't
know what's weird, B. You know what's weird? I bet you one of your questions is like, so hey, why didn't you coach for anybody or anything like that, right? Kind of.
Okay, so I'm about to be what I'm about to read the question I wrote down. Right. What made you want to go into this area of player development as opposed to a more traditional coaching route?
Hey, because I was thinking niche, man. I'm just being real. I was thinking, hey, there's this small little window here, but there's so many people in the whole world. Like, that's a receiver. Even when they're young, you're a receiver, a running back, or a quarterback. It's like, even when you're 4 years old, that's how you want to be. So I'm thinking, like, hey, man, hey, listen. Why we can't create this super niche? And no, I don't work for this. I don't work for that. You see in my bio, I say clearly to the world, I don't get you faster. I don't get you stronger. Like, this ain't my expertise, but we're going to get you open. And I just saw a niche, and I saw an area, and I just saw like a space, and we got superstars, and I knew, Bernie, I got a little 1-2 still in and I knew what I had in my DNA, and I said, let's just work with these guys, man. And that was it, man. That was my only thought process.
Are you still, do you go to high schools? Like, do you do high school level, or are you only what happened NFL guys?
It got big, Bernie. So like my team worked with most of the high schoolers.
Okay.
So I had to duplicate myself. So I really built a real team. So there's more people that come to the Receiver Factory that never saw me before.
Got it.
So they never ever worked with me before. You know what I mean? So I normally get out there with the big dogs.
Man, that
just because scheduling time and like, come, if you really want to do it, you would be on the field with a kid every single day. You have to like prioritize and figure it out and monetize and grab your coaches. So most guys don't see me. They've never met me before.
Do you like just love to watch, your guys will tell you how special it is to coach high school guys, because you can see such a big jump. What is that like? Are you guys part of the recruiting process to other schools? Like, do coaches call you? Do you have, and then
Bernie,
to build bigger.
Question, Bernie. You asked the wrong question, Bernie. You asked the wrong but right question. So, bro, I'm just keeping it real. And this is on Bleav in Badgers, right? So I'm just telling you what really happens. I send guys to every school in the country. Like Ohio State's best receiver, before he left, Jameson, before he went to Alabama, it was me. Like, I work with all these dudes and I call them. So Brian Hartline, Ohio State's receiver coach, calls me directly about drills, about what athletes you want me to work with. Alabama does the same thing. Last year, no one knows, I was almost the receiver coach of the University of Maryland. I didn't want to do it. So Maryland coach Loss came from Alabama and said, man, I got to go get him. And he brought me in. They gave me the job. Like, hey, it's yours. Then 7 days later, like, I'm flying back. I'm like, man, dang, do I really want to do this? And then some things happened where it didn't work out. But yeah, in the recruiting process, we're bigger. And the only reason I say that is because I think we can help our home team. Like, hey, listen, I'm right down the street, man. And I can get you a phone conversation with the best, baddest boys around. It's like, there's no communication. So I'm not saying that nothing to be bad against the Badgers. I'm just saying there ain't no communication. And I'm the guy right down the street.
Yeah, that seems a little wonky to me. I mean, that's the word I'll use. I have other words that we can't say really on the. I mean, we can.
We ain't doing that. We're not doing. Yeah. We're not blaming anyone. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but so I love the layers, dude.
So yes, I can help. I can help us, boy.
So you are really, but you're like face of, you help. You're recruiting. People are calling you for advice. Coaches want to know what you're doing on all the levels. I would assume. And then in the NFL, is it the same? Like, do coaches call you like, "Hey, we want to pick this dude up"?
So one of my number one receivers right now is bad boy is Van Jefferson. You saw a little article Pro Football Focus read on him, but his dad is a long time NFL wide receiver coach. His dad's future plans is to be a next NFL head coach. They consult with me directly. They send their son to me. Now he's an NFL coach. I'm not saying what I can do. I'm just saying, why would he send them to me? You know what I mean? So, like, when I say I got conversations with the NFL, like, there's so many conversations, the phone calls that came randomly. My right-hand man, my mentor, is Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner. So the boss of this whole Big Ten, before he became the boss of the Big Ten, he picked me up and said, "Hey, boy, I think you got a gift to inspire young men." So I got a couple power pieces in the playbook, but right now we're just playing football, Bernie.
Listen, I'm proud that I have Van on my fantasy team, and I'm pumped that you're his coach. Which is, I mean, dude, think about how cool that is. Like, it's it's completely ridiculous, but
we never even set out for this.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like,
we never even thought about it.
So let's take a step back then, because I'd love to hear, dude. You're from Florida. What made you choose the cold Midwest? Wisconsin.
Right. How did I know that question was going to come up? And I said, like, well, first of all, there's this beautiful woman behind me who had got this whole thing set up. And when I left college, she was already working at the University of Wisconsin. So she's been like a dean, like almost a dean there, like for like the last 15 years. So I had to figure out what we're going to do. And then, man, like, I don't know. I think there's peace and I think there's beauty in Madison, Wisconsin. I think there's something special in Madison, Wisconsin. I think it's just magic in here. I think it's like true getaway peace. So I live in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and the fast going, the boom, the bang. And I can come to Madison, Wisconsin and just say, and I can be a regular guy when I go to the grocery store and everything. And I just love Madison. So I didn't leave, B. I don't know why I didn't leave, B, but I didn't leave, B.
But what made you choose this? I mean, like,
they got
you. Oh yeah, you must have had other.
If I got to keep it real, they got me. So you got to. If anyone ever met the guy Henry Mason,
yeah, okay. So that's my next question.
He's about as slick and as good as he can get. He was recruiting me heavy to come here, and Henry Mason made me say yes. Always only Henry Mason and Lee Evans. Like they convinced me. Yeah.
Two pretty solid guys.
And there's no complaints about nothing though, B. Everything good, B.
So
I didn't have the Wisconsin career I wanted, but everything worked out.
Listen, you were special on the field.
Yeah. We didn't get. It was just a different time. We had a lot of bodies, a lot of money. We had J.O., we had DC, we had B. Will. Don't forget B. Will. Like, so we had things happening. You know what I mean?
And you had OD. There was a lot of
you to know like what type of player I was deep down. It only takes like real teammates. Because the world probably won't know what type of player Brandon White was. They just probably won't.
It's funny because there was a lot of dudes back then that we had who were very good at their position, and we just couldn't get everyone on the field. I just don't. There wasn't enough place.
What's weird? It doesn't look like we need those guys. Now
we need them now.
Like we need a room full of these guys. Like, hey, who was recruiting these guys? And I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying, like, hey, all right. Doesn't it look like we need those guys again?
It looks like we need every single one of them. Listen, I don't think you can find the Lee Evans just all day, every day.
You're not going to go pick them up.
But you got to go find them.
You don't even know. B. Listen, I live in the melting pot. I live where they're born. I'm there. You can find Lee Evans 3 times over, boy. We can send him to Wisconsin. I swear we can find them all. There's little tight ends and stuff right now. There's guys who do stuff in Florida that we can hand pick and send them right here. So I don't believe in that, right? There's some big time stars out there being born every day. Nah, we can have a team full of not
and you
lazy.
think they would want? You think they'd want to come?
Well, whose job is that on?
Well, good question.
For me, that's not the people talking to him like, hey man, get this guy home and make him feel like he's this home. But yeah, I can. You can.
Well, you're right. I think we're lacking a Coach Mason. That guy was one of my favorite coaches. Even during a game, he'd make you laugh.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, B. Let me flip the mic back on you, and I know you don't do this much in your show. So what about Coach Mason that he brought to the table? Don't tell me Coach Mason. Tell me what he did. Like, so who? What? You missing like a slick stalker? A real who are you missing, B?
Well, I tell you, Coach Mason.
But
Coach Mason knew a lot about you. He cared about you. He asked you questions about you. So he was invested in you and your person, the person you are outside of just football. It wasn't only football. Mm-hmm. I think he tried to make everyone better. And I think he talked to people in a respectful way. I don't remember him blowing up on dudes and MFing people. I don't think that wasn't his game.
So you think you think we're missing that right now somewhere?
I think we're missing a Coach Mason.
There's no element to that for our team. There's no element to our team that has that. Keep it real, B. We talking real now. I mean,
listen. I don't know. I think we're missing. Like Coach Huber was a total. Yes. Like psycho, yell at you, go. But I think we're missing that. Palermo. But I think we are missing that. We need those guys. But I don't know. Like you tell me, you deal with more kids than I do. Mm-hmm. On the real, can those kids handle being cursed at and told that they suck? If that's or do we need guys who aren't going to do that, but who are like a Coach Mason who like really invest in you? But Coach Mason was a good coach, and he'd tell you when you messed up, just in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I think, like Bernie, you asked a real good question, man, because there's a real fine line in getting the best out of someone, like whether it's MFing or hugging them. There's a fine line, but we need the MFer who can figure out that fine line and walk it. So whether you got to MF a guy today, whether you got to pick up a guy today, we need the guy who's going to get the best out of a guy. Because the bottom line is getting the best out of you, boy. It's not breaking you down. It's not yelling at you. It's not. I'm just trying to do what I can do now to get you to there. So we need the guy who can figure out that line. That's for y'all. That's why they pay y'all this money. Figure out a way to get the best out of this kid.
And then let's listen, I'm with you because we're not getting the best out of our guys right now.
And sometimes it's going to take an MF. But sometimes it's going to take a hug. You're the one who's supposed to figure it out.
Yeah, I completely agree.
$1 million coach at Wisconsin. Figure it out. Figure out how to get this good to perform.
Right. So then what are you seeing then from the wide receivers? Or you can just go the whole offense since they're not really producing, but if you want to stay specific to wide receivers, what are you seeing that like you either like or don't like?
I'll tell you a couple of things without us getting into it, B. And I don't want to talk about Wisconsin offense too much about it. But I'll tell you this: what I see. I see the same guys who got open a couple of years ago. I see the same guy who made a bunch of catches like Big Jake. He's a ball player, been a ball player. I see a lot of our receivers who there's not a lot of separation these days and not a lot of big plays being made. But there was years where we could say this same guy, DD or prior, they made plays. So I'm saying these are the same guys, right? We didn't downgrade and get a worse set of guys. Like these are guys that we won with, made plays with. Big Jake's a superstar. Like, so these same guys are not producing the same. So what's up with that? Because it's easy to say, hey, well, we don't got the right guys. But we got a receiver core that. But listen, these guys made plays and touchdowns for us. These guys made catches and win for us. So I don't know. They're not getting put in the right position, or they're not getting the right opportunity on the field, or they're not running the right. But these are the same guys who can make a play. We don't have the best receiver in the country, but I won't bash them. These guys can make a play, boy. Let's play that. They can make a play. It ain't all on them. It ain't on them.
No, I'm not bashing them. I've always been a fan of them. I actually think Kendrick Pryor's fantastic, and I think Danny Davis plays a good role at wide receiver, and he's been there. He's their leaders.
And what about Jake?
Yeah, Jake. I mean, yes, he's fantastic. You know, he's one of the best tight ends in the country.
Why these guys not catching a lot of balls? What's happening there, Bernie?
What's for me, I think it's play calling. I think it's play calling, and I think we don't have a playbook that is open. We're not shifting. We're not motioning. We're not giving these guys the opportunity to get open to make plays.
That's all it is, B. They're the same guys, boy. They can go catch a 10-yard out route. Trust me, we got to put them in position, man. I just think they're not in the same position. Same guys, they're in different positions all year.
My question is then, especially like, I mean, even like Chimere DK, I mean, he can play too. Like he can definitely, play, he can get open, but I'm not gonna, I don't know. I've spent too much of my time being mean to Jack Dunn, so I'm not going to be mean to Jack Dunn today.
No.
But let's talk about that scheme a little bit more. I mean,
let's get into that.
Like, let's talk about what you see, because I mean, Wisconsin power run, we know what we're going to see, but when this offense has been its most successful under Chris, whether he's the head coach or the offensive coordinator, we've seen a lot more balance, and you've seen a lot more of whether it is those pre-snap shifts, the motion, or unique route concepts, and matching, and we're not getting that. What is that? Do you think that's a product of the fact that the offensive line is having trouble blocking anyone? Is that, do you think, a quarterback with a limited knowledge of the playbook, or what do you see there?
Well, I think it's a product of all of the above, right? It's a product of a product of a product. So it started here with the QB. It started with the line over here. It started with the play caller. So we're seeing a product of a compilation of products like in front of us. Like it was like, if we only have one of these little products as an issue, we wouldn't be talking about it, right? We just got like this certain situation where all of these products start showing up. Like, hell, it's not just that, but it's that. It's not just that, but it's not the play calling, but it's that. And it's not just the athleticism we're getting, but it's the position we're putting them in. So there's a product of a product of a product playing right in front of all of us. And it's like start from the small to the big, like you guys were saying. And you guys hinted at it and said, you guys hinted at play calling. You guys hinted at the situation you put them in. You guys hinted at like some more pre-play stuff we can do. So it's a product of all these little things, and it's turned into one big pile of, you know what?
It really has.
That's keeping it real.
No, and our offense looks very sad. And I think you're right. I think it is a product of a product of a product. It's the O-line's not picking up the blitz. The QB's uncomfortable. We're not getting people where they need to be. We're not putting people in positions to be successful. So we're not shipping the ends. We're not doing anything we used to do, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. And then again, man, this show is Bleav in Badgers, man. So I believe in us, man. I'm not here to bash nothing, man, at all. Like, at all. Like, hey, coach, if you want me to send you a couple of recruits, I got you. But, so this is no negativity. It is just saying, like, it's not working right now.
It's not working. Listen, and I'm the same way. I tried my hardest not to bash guys because I was that guy. Someone could have been doing a podcast bashing me. I didn't make every block. There's no way. But I put a lot of blame on the coaching staff because I think that's where it has to be laid out because you're only as good as your coaches are and where they put you and the plays they call. So period. Yeah. So I put a lot at their feet, but let's talk about this and let's talk about something a little different. You played with Jimmy Leonard. What do you just love about that guy?
Hey, little guy, bro. Hey, listen, I was a freshman year, man. I'm running like a deep ball down the sideline, and I hit him pretty good, like bing, 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 boom. I got him. I'm running. I got him by like 2 yards. Bro, the ball's falling out the air, bro. I swear he just hit 2 or 3 more inches that I've never seen before. And he went and picked it off, and I was thinking, hey, that's not real. And then there's games I've seen with that little dude, man, who just he showed up. He was there, boy. He didn't only just embody the work and the mentality of Wisconsin walk on or whatever. He showed up. Well, y'all got to give him credit. Jim showed up, man. And he did some stuff that made you say, like the slam dunk and the team thing we did. Remember that, Bernie? When he hit that thing with 2 hands? You remember that?
awesome.
Yeah, boom.
He's got
who's this little guy? So he was that for real. He was the real deal for real. And when it was the time to be the real deal, he was the real deal. That one-handed interception he made versus Indiana, when they just threw it over there, he just plucked it out. That punt return we had late versus, I think that was Penn or at home or something. He got that thing. But just know he showed up when it was time to show up. That's the biggest thing we need out of a superstar.
I'll tell you what, he was a superstar in the time. And what I respect the most out of that dude, he never fair caught a punt. Like
he was ready.
Oh my God. We put our best guys on punt return, and he caught every ball and returned them. And that's a scary position for a superstar. Like he wasn't just like our fourth or fifth string, running back or wide receiver. This was our number one best defense, one of the best defensive players. We had some really good guys.
He was an All-American safety, 3 years.
And he's catching every punt and running.
Yeah.
Like real life All-American guy. So let's remember who we're talking about. He was a real All-American. Like they voted him that.
But still, that to me was extremely respectful. I mean, yes, his accolades on defense were outstanding, but his return ability is just on punt return.
He showed up, man. Whenever it was gonna be that time, it's somehow like the superhero or something show up. He never missed the moment to show up, boy. And that's the difference between greats, boy. If it was a great moment, he made a great play.
Every time.
How many times did you do that before you consider greatness?
Right. But dude, when I saw him dunk that basketball, though, you're right. I think I was like, man, we are witnessing.
It was weird stuff that he did that made me say he was the real deal.
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
Other stuff TV could say like, oh, that was hype. He was in position. There's stuff in real life I saw him doing. I said, hey, he's really like that. Like Stephon Diggs on the field. Really like. He just wasn't saying it. He just wasn't saying it to himself. But he's one of those guys you could say, yeah, he was really like that. Like really like that, B.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all one thing real quick, B.
Yeah.
So this Diggs thing threw me off. And the receivers I seen. So the receivers I got and everybody we work with, right? There's a couple of guys I ran into in my life. And I said, hey, boy, he's really like that. And I want to share that with you. There's a couple of times I left the football field, getting ready to go train the guy. Now I see the best of the best now. There's a couple of times I've seen the dude run, jump, move, and I said, oh my goodness. Now, this is no slight to my best guys that I love. There's 3 dudes. I walked on the field and I left the field and say, hey, I've never seen that before. Okay, one was Jerry Jeudy in high school. I'll go to the field. They tell me, hey, the number 1 receiver in the high school is out here. It was Calvin Ridley. So Calvin Ridley was the guy out there. But Jerry would just do like a sophomore, tall, big, and I say, well, who is that? And even Calvin Ridley is a bad boy. He stood out that way. The next one was Odell Beckham. Trust me, you can say what you want to say about Odell. He's jumping real high. He's running real fast. He's real quick. He's a real bad boy that you leave the field and you say, oh my gosh. And then there's my young man for Alabama who transferred to Alabama right now, Jameson Williams, who came from Old State. And these guys, I stepped on the field and I said, Bernie, trust me, it's weird, boy. Up close in person, these guys are weird. They're like real life Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
Like that's different. I don't want to disrespect one of my other guys, but these guys, I literally saw them jump and catch a ball or do a move or something. And I said, oh my. And Odell probably your best receiver I've ever seen in my whole life. And I'm just keeping it real. And I don't care what people got to say about him. Odell is really good.
Yeah, I love that. Real life Ferraris and Lamborghinis. We need some Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Real life is like F-150 out here, boy. Like we really rolling.
So what do you see? I mean, is it just the jumping? Is it the moving? Or do you see something like your eye for wide receivers? Or what is that something that you see that's so special?
Man, they got that little bit of basketball in them, man. Like every one of the slickest ones, they got a little like crossover. Like they got like a little like it's not the normal run here, break down, sit down. They sit down different. It's prettier. It's in motion, it's flow. And then the best ones, bro, they're the biggest dogs. I never knew this. So the best ones, like the dudes who the richest, the highest paid, the most stats, they want to work out all the time. They literally outwork you, by the way.
I mean, that's, like, that was Jerry Rice.
Yes. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh no, that's Jerry Rice. That's what made him the greatest. Nobody outworked Jerry Rice.
Like, you guys are already at the top. And then, Odell, why do you call me after every game? Like, Diggs, why you call me? Like, it's so cool. Go get in your Lambo, man. You know what I mean? And they want it. They just want it more. And it's weird to me. Like, they're the best, but they want to work out more than the rest of them. And it's like, that's a combo.
Well, I mean, that's a combo that you love to see. You want them on your team.
Yeah. We're building a little team right now.
Dude, that's great. So what's next for Receiver Factory?
So right now, man, like, I don't know, like, without giving too much, I love this, Bernie, and I feel good and I feel young, right? I feel lightweight. I could do this. And when I get tired of doing this, I'll go sit in someone's office on the NFL team, and I'll go be their wide receiver coach, and I'll walk off into the wind. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and build this one. And we're trying to create the Factory 15. That's the comparison to the Elite 11. So the Elite 11 that with the quarterbacks that has been around for 20 years, we want to be the Factory 15. We're doing real close to signing with Brand Jordan. So we'll be one of the first, like, these brands that actually shine the Jordan, like the big dogs. So we got some moves in place, but really, let's get as much guys open as we can. Then I'll fall off in the wind, and I'll be the New York Giants receiver coach.
That's come to the Jets.
No, come to the Bills. The Bills, come be with Stephon every day. Come to the Bills, baby.
Yeah. Well, that's the plan. So hey, B, you fans of Gary V?
I know Gary V.
Are you fans of Gary V?
I know Gary V.
Who's that?
I thought B might be with the Jets affiliation. None?
Who's Gary
no affiliate? No, nothing? He's a Jet. All right, whatever. We'll talk about this off the camera. But yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick. But I know him well.
I wish I knew all the Jets. The problem is they stink. I wish I knew him.
Yeah. That's your guy. That's one of your big Jets guys. So you got to kind of know him.
No, he's like a motivational guy, like like entrepreneur. He's like, he has a huge following on like Instagram and stuff like that. He's
about as big as you can get.
Yeah, and he's one of the biggest guys.
The next best owner, but enough about that. What I want to do is I want to holler at Matt Perk. Hey, Matt, tell me something. Is there anything like, I just went to rumbling and we went to talking. Did we miss anything, Matt? You want to?
Who was the toughest corner that you played against, whether it was on the Badgers or on another team?
Scott Starks.
Too easy.
Scott Starks. He was just like a little aggressive, little tenacious little guy, real fast, real quick, real get in your face. Like, as a receiver, you just don't like the guys who are going to get in your face. Even if you're known to beat the press well, like I had no problem with it, you just don't want a dude bugging you, man. And he's one of them little dudes who's up into you, man. And so, yeah, he was a tough. Or Devin Hester. Now, I grew up with Devin, so me and Devin been best friends since we were born. Like, me and Devin. And so Devin was my biggest rival in Palm Beach, Florida. Like, if the paper or the big game was coming out, it was always about me and Devin Hester.
He's the fastest dude. He's the fastest dude,
Devin Hester?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Like, for real, though. Like, just literally, I don't know what you guys seen. I saw him. I grew up with this is my boy. And Devin Hester is, yeah. Then let me just say, yeah. Anything you can say, yeah. The answer is yeah. Is he fast? Yeah. Is he good? Yeah. Is he bad? Yeah. It's like, that's Devin. You know what I mean? So I'm just say yeah.
What made Lee Evans special?
His mentality. That boy bring even to this day. So he's one of my biggest supporters in this. When the whole thing came out, people don't know behind the scenes is Lee. And his mentality different than ours. He got more discipline. He got more focus than the average man. He gonna get up and do what's supposed to be done every day, more consistent than us. It's not like he can catch the ball better, but at 10 out of 10, he gonna catch it. The other dude might do a 7 out of 10. He gonna be there. And then his brain is really, 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 really strong. And he goes into it. And he stays there. He does everything on purpose. He does things on rhythm. He brings in the people that he needs around him. He tunes totally into the job being done. I remember this one silly story. We sitting on the sideline during the game. Coach Mason yelled at this one young receiver. I ain't going to say his name. And then he was over there telling Lee, and this is in the game, and Lee looked at him right. Lee said, listen, I really don't give a F. And all we do is laugh about now. It's like the ball was so focused. Like, he was like, hey, man, he looked over and we all sitting on the sideline laughing like, ooh, you heard what he told him? But it's just like, Lee like laser focused, boy. He the same guy who would beat you in those little mini basketball games in a little
pop shot.
He won't miss. I promise you, he can lock into different levels. So I think the biggest thing about Lee is his mentality. There's somewhere he can go.
Okay, next question. Young receivers listening to the show. One piece of advice for a high school receiver who's aspiring to play D1 ball. What's one piece of advice you would give them?
And this is just on anything.
Yeah. It could be technique. It could be mentality. It could be whatever.
Well, man, if I can only sit a dude down, man, you guys got to understand, it ain't got nothing to do about football. I got to say, hey, man, hey, young man, hey, young man, hey, young man, no matter what's going on here. When you leave the room, young man, you want the people to maybe say three things. You want to say, hey, man, hey, I don't know, but when I saw that dude, he was glowing. I don't know, it looked like he had a glow to him. What I mean, and I'm getting to something when I say this. I say, also, I don't think the dude said much. No, he didn't say nothing. He was just kind of floating through the room. Matter of fact, the third thing, I don't even think that dude walked in the room. I think he was floating everywhere. What I mean is, be the best version of yourself, boy. Clean yourself up. Never have a negative comment they can say about you. You never even open your mouth about nothing. You clean everything about you up, and you walk around like that. So when you leave the room, they say, hey, boy, he was floating. Hey, boy, he was glowing. And I can't say nothing about him because he didn't give me anything. So it got nothing to do with football, but it got to you being the best possible version of you. And that's what I want to talk to a young man about. And you make sure when you leave the room, your nickname is Fiji. And that boy was like water. He was clean. He was clean. And that's it. You be that guy in life. And you go be that guy, the best version. So I would probably tap into something like that. And I probably don't answer your question, but yeah, I'm going to grab a young man, a young bull who don't know what he's walking into. And I'm going to say, hey, clean yourself up first, boy. Before you clean everything up out here, clean yourself up. Water.
You need to go and just be a speaker and write a book.
Bro, that's what they want me to speak, Bernie. They keep saying that I'm gonna be a preacher or a speaker. I keep saying, hey, I ain't ready for that now.
But you're gonna be great at it, dude. You're gonna be awesome.
That's what I want. We want Fiji though. We want Fiji. We want that guy, but clean yourself up.
Well, you know what's funny about that is I think back to our days, which is a long time ago, and I think nothing bad about you at all. So
ain't that weird? Ain't that kind of weird, right? Like,
but it's good.
You got to think about it because I think nothing bad about you, right? So something happened where we were close to Fiji.
Yeah. Well, there were dudes even dudes that I love to this day. You still think back.
You can think of some bad stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't full Fiji yet. It wasn't fully Fiji.
Well, what if we had a team full of Fijis out there? They didn't have any fears. They didn't have any anxieties. They didn't have any worries. They did the right thing and was ready for the job. Boy, that's cool, boy. So as a recruiting coach, it can start by coach. Okay, I'm going to make my room Fiji. Then you make your room Fiji. I'm going to make that room Fiji. All of a sudden, the whole team, damn, Aquafina. You know what I mean? They're going to start with a big-ass agenda. Hey, let me grab this dude and clean this dude up.
Yeah.
And let me grab this dude and clean this one up.
So, building off of that, what dude that you played with at Wisconsin was the most Fiji?
Ooh.
Besides Bernie, obviously.
It got to be Jonathan Orr, though, right, Bernie?
I mean, I was thinking
you can't say nothing about Jonathan Orr, can you?
You could say Jonathan Orr was the nicest dude.
He was a preacher.
He was a preacher. He didn't go to the bars.
On the team.
Yeah, he didn't go to the bars. Everything he did was
just off the top of my head. So Bernie, who was your Fiji? I just threw something out there. Like, oh yeah, that guy was pretty clean.
I mean, Jo was probably would be on my list because he really was super kind to everyone, and he never went to the bars. He never drank. He never talked about women in a disrespectful, like he never really did anything that was negative at all.
And he actually prayed for us. He actually helped Bible study for us. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt, I'm gonna say J.O.
I think I have to go J.O.
Yeah.
I
think it's something that we all should strive for, right? Like this is a cleaner version of ourselves. I was reading that Live Like a Monk book the other day.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stuck with me is that 3 C's they talk about. The 3 C's that they say that's like really brings negativity, and it's complaining, comparing, or criticizing. So I watch anyone who's doing one of those 3, or I'll watch when I'm doing those 3. And those 3 start changing stuff up. Like you don't compare what you were doing and what they should have did. You don't criticize and you don't complain. You just don't let it roll off your lips. If you can stay in the 3 C's, right, then you cleaner already. Like I just don't get caught up in. I never heard him complain. I never heard him criticize. He don't compare. He chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's those type of thoughts and it's those type of mindsets that can turn your whole team into Fiji. But it's like real, boy. You got to have a real movement and a real situation. It's real coming through. This ain't a new job. It is real.
Okay, I'm titling this podcast "Getting to Fiji" because I think that's what we're all trying to attain at this point
in life, right?
Yeah.
I
like nobody can tell me like just be the best version of you. I ain't saying be me or be him. I'm just saying be the healthiest version of you. Be like the most like willpower version of you. Be the most positive version of you. Be the most optimistic version of you. Be the guy who doesn't do 3 C's of you. That's it. Boy, be the best of you, boy.
So
that's all it comes down to.
So building off of that, what in terms of your own personal life, what's been the biggest challenge to get there?
I went through everything. So I went through mental health. So I was one of the deepest mental health patients that you guys will ever know. So when that program was building, and when you see those 15,000, 20,000 views, and you see all those guys out there, most of the time someone had to coach me to get on the field that day. They had to say, "Hey, B, get in the car. Oh, we only got to drive 10 minutes." And I'm like, "Boy, I ain't driving. I wouldn't get in the car. Like I wouldn't drive anywhere. Like physically, like I had anxiety. But you turn on the video, you see a lion. You don't see no signs of that. You don't know people had to like literally become our drivers. You don't know everything had to get set up. We have to take the shortest route to there. We can never get on the highway. We're gonna take the scenic route. People don't know that. So I went through like real life mental like boom, like dark, like just for no reason though. But I never showed nobody. But just figuring that out and go. Sometimes you only get out of something by going through something. So when I talk about Fiji, when I talk about order, when I talk about peace, when I talk about chill, I say stuff that I searched for deep when I was in the dark spot. And I searched for it deep for real. And I was there with you for real, boy. And I came out of it on this side saying, well, we got to do these things to clean ourselves up. And so that's why I Bleav in it, and because I was in there when the world didn't know. The world telling me, hey, good job, boy. You got drivers out there today, boy. And I'm like, well, I ain't even want to get in the car today, boy. They don't know that part. And they never have to. So that's pushed me to Fiji. It forced me to Fiji. It forced me to work on me. It forced me to say, what's bugging you? Forced me to say, why you ain't chilling? What's up? Forced me to say, well, who are you around? What are you doing? What are your habits? How do you eat? It forced me to go in and clean up. So now when I say if I'm gonna help somebody, I'm gonna clean them up first.
B. White, I have a job for you. You should be a sports psychologist.
No, I don't know, B.
Listen, this podcast has went from like football to like mental health and Fiji, which I actually think is way more. You're right, though. The mental health, dude, I was not Fiji in college. Not about the drinking and going to the bars, but even on like, I didn't complain. I didn't compare. I didn't do the C's, but I was, once football ended, I had no idea what to do.
So what you would, and you still and you done got this identity as the Hammer, man. Right? But you got the identity as the Hammer. So now it leaves. So the Hammer's sitting here at home that's something going on in the Hammer's brain, man.
Yeah, no, but I definitely needed to see somebody and hear something like this. And, you know, like, and there was nobody there. I think now there are a lot more people to support the students, which I think is so important, especially on this level,
well,
man.
You got to start with awareness. Like, you got to understand, people don't even know. That same coach who recruited you, man, that same professor who's teaching you, man, they going through it too, boy. They got stuff that's messing them up. So it's like awareness in the beginning. Like, hold on, let's be aware that this could be out here. In the beginning, so they ain't gonna mess with Bernie because I ain't even aware that nothing wrong with Bernie. So I'm not even aware that this is going on. So like the whole environment's been just it's no awareness of it. So how can I help? I don't know. He going like, huh? So like, we don't know this. We ain't even think about this. We just trying to get up and go make sure JD don't curse us out at the lift that morning because we were late. You know, we ain't trying to think about my mental health and my future, what can bring me peace and calm and chill, or what can turn off of this. We don't even come across that. It come to you when you're in a dark ass place. You got to sit there, and then you got to get it. Because if you now, when that water come to you, then it's life or death. By the way, that water is here to save your life. Before it was just not drinking water. At this point, it's drinking life. Hey, slowly come back to life. Get in order. Pray. Journal. Read every morning. Go meditate, get up and go work out. Hey, call a couple friends. Make sure you wake up and say 10 things you're positive for every day. Boom, this water to feed you. This water bring you back to life. This water making me the receiver. Fact, the water's making me this dude y'all see right now, like that little sips of water. Hey, pray every morning. Hey, get up. Hey, get up every morning, pray. Hey, tell me 10 things you're thankful for. That's water that's taking you back to life, boy. You know what I mean?
I don't know about you, Matty P, but I'm going to go through the rest of this day floating.
Rest of this day? You kidding me? The rest of this week?
The rest of this week.
Man, listen, let me tell y'all boys two things. Hey, y'all call me whenever y'all need me.
Well, I mean, we're within
y'all want to talk about the receiver of the week. Y'all want to talk about anything randomly, whatever it is. Call me, man. I'm sitting at home. This is what I do. This brings me life. You know, this makes me feel good. This makes me wake up and say, I was thinking about it last night. My son is home with COVID. I don't know if he has COVID, but he's home. We're waiting on the test, right? So I felt real bad this morning. I said, the only reason I didn't give y'all an excuse, I said, they're not going to believe me. If I tell them, hey, man, I don't feel good today, well, let's just miss it. They're going to say, he's just ducking out. That's the only reason I didn't miss this thing, because I said, they ain't going to believe me. I don't even feel good. You know, I like real life don't feel good. And I was like, if I told them that, they're not going to believe me, so just get on there and do it regardless.
Well,
but more life,
really
man. This more life, B. This is more life, B.
You're bringing me more life.
Yeah. Listen,
hey, look where I did it, B. Look
you
where I
could
did
spare
it,
some life for a lot of people.
Come on, man. So y'all need me, man. I appreciate this. Y'all don't even know what it does. And we can have some of them conversations. Nothing about this supposed to be negative. So let's just end it with that. I wasn't coming at anybody in the offense or anything.
No.
It was just chopping it up.
It's all positive.
You know, we got to talk. You know, for this podcast, we have to talk about something about the Badgers.
We did
because we did. No, I know. I'm just saying, like a little piece. But BY, when I talked to you, I said we'll do it for like 10 minutes, and then the rest is going to be about
I didn't
what
know
you're doing now, other stuff.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that. Tell me anything. Ask me what. Tell me.
I don't know if I have much more.
You know what happened, B? You know why you stumped me? Because it was bigger than that. The whole conversation was so big. So now we want to drop down and go like, okay, well, after we just talked about life changing the water and everybody, let's go down and talk about the Badgers. It's like, you know, maybe we missed that one this time. Maybe we missed it. We all believe in the Badgers. We're all Badgers, so it's all cool and it's all good. But I don't know, man. I don't have anything to say about the Badgers. I don't know what.
Listen, if you
told me making something up, B. What I'm supposed to say?
If you told me, if you asked me who would I think would win every week, I'm still saying the Badgers, no matter what.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You guys reviewed this footage of this one, but I think we had a good one.
We had a great one.
This is fantastic.
Awesome. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you know. And maybe we could talk about the Badgers again more, but this turned into, this was cool, man. This is cool. And
this is what I needed. This is what I needed today.
What y'all do is cool, though, by the way. What y'all do, and y'all get here and do this and that's cool, by the way, bro. And that's part of Fiji-ness. You know what I mean? That slowly little piece of just, I'm being a clean me. You know?
I was telling Matt the other day, I mean, I think it was last night, like, you know, he came into, Matt kind of came into my life randomly, right? I've been doing this for a year or so.
Yeah, how did that happen? Tell me how that happened.
I'll tell you how it happened. I decided to do a little thing because I just been hosting this podcast by myself, bringing on guests. It was fun. I had a bunch of recruits on. It was really fun. But I made my all 21st century Badger team. And I made some Instagram graphics, and I was doing a podcast series about, okay, who are the best Badgers, from the last 20 years? And Bernie was my fullback.
I thought Bernie.
Yeah, I said Hebrew Hammer. It was the obvious number one choice for fullback. And I put a graphic up on Instagram. I tagged him in it, being like, maybe, it was like.
Well, can I see this graphic, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely. So this,
okay, go ahead.
So this graphic, I'll pull it up here in just a second for you while I'm telling the story. So this graphic that I made, it was, so who was my ideal Wisconsin backfield for the last 20 years? And it was Russell Wilson at quarterback, Melvin Gordon and Jonathan Taylor at running back, and Bernie at fullback, right?
Oh, that's the backfield boy. Ooh.
And so
you can't forget the Calhouns of the world too now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Brian Calhoun.
You're not wrong. I'm just throwing in.
I love Anthony Davis. Like, we had AD on the podcast. That was a lot of fun.
Well, Bernie gonna be the hammer.
But so
Bernie, like hammer. Well, let
me
see what you grade.
I'm putting this up on the screen. Here's the graphic I made.
Oh, 21st team. Okay, boom.
And
so then you created one of Bernie.
Well, no, it was these four dudes.
That's a hammer in the front.
Yeah, it's right here on the front.
Hammer leading the way.
Yeah, of course. Who else would be leading the way?
Okay, so he saw that.
He saw that, and we started DMing, and it was like, come on, just come on the show, let's talk, and we just had an instant connection, and I just.
How long y'all been at it?
Well, together we've been at it 3 months now. So.
What? This thing's so young and infancy and beautiful.
Yeah. So
y'all can take it wherever you want to go with it. You can do whatever you want with this thing. Oh my God.
One of the things that one of my favorite, I guess, axioms that I have sort of discovered was from Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose wrote a book, and the core message, or one of the core messages of it, that people come into your life for 4 reasons: to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And I really believe that Bernie has come into my life to not just add, but to multiply. Like, he has, helped me sort of grow and appreciate a lot of different things, even in the 3 months that we've known each other now. So I really appreciate him. I think he's the GOAT, man. He's that dude. And it makes me really happy and just honored to be able to work with him every week.
Well,
I'm going to start crying.
Hey, Bernie, I was about to say, hey, Bernie, that's heavy, man.
It's heavy.
That's like a guy telling you you're water to him. No matter how unclean you feel.
For real, he is.
To me, you're water to me, boy. You give me life, you give me inspiration, you give me motivation, you give me a reason to wake up. Like, he telling you, hey, I use you, B, as water in life. And that's powerful, man.
Listen, Matty P fills my bucket for sure. It's been it's fantastic because I know how much we both love doing this together. We both text almost every day. It's crazy. Like, I never knew Matt before this, and now, like, every day I'm like, oh, I got to tell Matt this. I got to call him. I got to do this. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's dope. It's dope, man.
It's dope. I love it. And I think it's so cool because I think we're doing something different. We're not just talking Badger football. We're talking about, like, individuals who came to play from Florida, from Jersey, from wherever, New York, from wherever they came from, and then hearing about them and their experience. And I think that's different than, a Badger podcast or kind of like sports radio when they're really specifically talking sports. I put in a request to get the nutritionist on. Like, I want to really dive deep into, like, what's going on. Yeah, cool stuff like that. So, and I think it's special to have AD on and be like, AD, like, why on earth did you pick Wisconsin? I just think it's cool. Chopping it up.
Yeah, I got something really, really cool here. I am really grateful that y'all thought it would be worth having me on. So thank you guys for that part, man. And if there any time I can chop it up about anything on here, I get long-winded, so I won't always be this long, right? Maybe 5-minute segment and cut that boy B off because he's gonna talk all day. So maybe, we got more structure, but yeah, this made me feel good today, guys.
But that's one of the things I love about it. Like, I don't necessarily there's plenty of that structure, like in sports radio. Like, I like having these open and free flowing conversations. Like, it might be 20 minutes, it might be 2 hours. And either way,
at least it was authentic. At least it was real.
Yeah, exactly.
At least it wasn't, at least it was real.
It wasn't a canned soundbite.
Right. And I also, a lot of people know us or know football players from the helmet and shoulder pads. They don't know the people. They don't know the stories. They don't know what they're thinking about. They don't know what their experiences were. People come up to me now and are like, oh, you said this, you did this, you love Wandos. I know you love Wandos. I'm like, yeah, because my story's out there. But I think it's special that we can take other people's stories. Like this Fiji thing, I'm never going to let go. Like, I love
Me neither.
Like
what's so weird about it, right? I don't know. It's like a concept me and my boy came up with the other day. Me talking to him, and it kind of developed, and the 3 C's, and like just being clean, though. Like something about being like pure, man. Like it's something about purity. Like, hey, that guy's a good guy, boy. Hey, I don't have anything bad to say about that guy.
Right.
Hey,
right.
I don't think that guy ever gossips about anyone. I don't think he ever talks bad about anyone. I don't think he either why we can't be one of those guys when you meet them? Why can't they be like, well, hey, I met Matt and I knew Matt, boy, I heard about him. And he's a bulldog now. He like him, Alex Lewis, have the biggest collisions you ever seen in life. So he's a bulldog. But I don't know, something when I met him, boy, it was cool. It was nice. Maybe he was even gentle. I think the nigga was even thoughtful. Like, I don't know. And why can't be that guy? Leave him with that.
Right. Off the field, I mean, you're right. People should be clean. Get your life in order. Yeah.
Before we start, what did you call him right at the beginning? B. White, before we started, what did you call him?
Who? B?
Bernie. What did you call? You had a phrase for him right at the beginning, right before we started recording.
Oh, when I said who he is, like he's this and he's that.
Yeah. No, it was like
and he's gentle. When I say he's fierce and gentle.
Yeah, fierce and gentle. Time. Fierce and gentle.
No, I think I said cuddly. I said fierce and something like
fierce and cuddly.
But there's one side of it is just real Wolverine. That's real life in there because he had to be but there's the other side, like teddy bear for real. Like, hey man, give me a hug, boy. Hey, I really see what you got going on, B. Hey, he might even change his demeanor and talk like this. Hey, I just told him, he's both of them, boy, in real life.
You are a great judge of character. Like, I feel like you just get people.
Well, I don't think I'm wrong, D. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. That's what I'm saying.
Are you not a big teddy bear deep down, boy?
Huge teddy bear.
Look at him. Look at his face. It's turning red. He knows he's a teddy bear. It's turning red on the cap. Look, he knows.
It's just red in his shirt.
Oh my God, it's so red. Like, they feel me. They know me. I don't have to just run. Come on, yeah.
I'll tell you what, B. White. We remember those things you used to. Coach White used to ask to fill out like these, like a questionnaire. And every year, not every year, but a lot of times, Greg Root and I would win. I don't know if it was a win. Most wanted to be in a dark alley, like to have your back.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I like winning this. Like I want. Well, one, I mean. In the violent way, I'm like, well, this works. Like if we're playing football, wasn't a fighter in college as much as a lot of other people were. But I love the fact that people trusted me enough to be in that alley with them. Because they know
about the physical. Sometimes it's just about who got my back for real. Like if this thing get dirty, who not gonna run? If this thing get crazy, they ain't gonna leave me. If this thing get dirty, they gonna fight with me. Like, so you had the strength side that's obvious, but it was also like, I believe that he won't leave me. And it's as simple as that. Like the person who with you says, I believe this guy right here won't leave me right now. No matter how dirty it get, we're going to go together. And they believe that.
My question is, how did Clink not win that?
Ooh, ask Bernie that one.
Clink probably got a lot of votes. Because I voted for Clink. I trusted that dude in my life.
But I can see Bernie like edging Clink out in that one. And I love Clink. I've seen Clink the other day. I can see why Bernie might edge him out.
The Clink is one of my favorite people.
About that, man. There's something to trust about in that face. And when I saw when I saw his face the other day, I was laughing. And it was the purest Bernie face I've seen in years. It's when he finished that beer, that F back, he threw it back. So when he threw it, he said, "Hey, a fullback scored," and he threw the beer back. Right? It wasn't how he threw it back. It wasn't the fact that it was only a Stella, so woohoo. It was the fact that he finished it, boy. And then he looked over there with this gene on, like teddy bear smile at you. Like, that was Bernie. That little, like that 3 seconds left at the end. Oh, that's Bernie. It wasn't nothing to do with the rest. It was that pure, that cleanness. Like he finished it, he smiled and he looked at you, and this is really neat. This, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not the fact that it was a Stella, because it was Stella, B. I mean, we could do better than that. It wasn't the fact of anything, B. It was the fact that you looked over there and said, "Oh no!" Just look at the video, guys, and look at his face at the end, and look how he's smiling.
It's so good.
People have been hating on the Stella. I gotta have something just in the
fridge. What do you think is going to happen, B? What do you think we're going to happen? How impressed can we really be?
You want to be honestly? I didn't think we were going to score that much. I didn't think the fullback was going to score this year, so I didn't have cans of beer.
Yeah, we can't be impressed with a Stella now.
Yeah, I know.
You needed Wisconsin beer. You needed an ale. You needed something that was deep and dark. Yeah,
he needs some Berghoff Red is what he needed.
Something that was deep and fullback heat.
Oh man, I guess I will never do that. I'm gonna run outside and get beer if the fullback ever scores again. I'm never gonna drink what I.
No, you need, like I told you, you just need to have a stash of just like Miller Lights sitting in the fridge for that exact purpose.
They can't sit there. They can't sit in the fridge because then I told you, Matt B, they sit in my mind. And I'm like, you're going to drink that after work to just chill out.
Hey, when I say this dude's hitting some powerful stuff right now, folks, this is for another show. But what he's telling you is when there's a problem, you don't make it so accessible. So you don't just have it there waiting on me if I know I'm going to go get him. So, hey, folks, he's tapping into something big right now.
I love it.
Moving problems around from his access.
I love it.
I leave the beer at the store so I don't drink it. It's exactly what I do.
I gotta go to the store to get it. So like at least
sometimes I'm lazy to go and I don't want to go, so I don't get it.
The laziness might save me alone. Like
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a good one, fellas.
Good stuff. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. This was BY. Thank you so much. This was so wonderful. Like Matt said, like I'm gonna be floating on cloud nine for a week, or at least until the game on Saturday. We'll see how that goes. That always raises my blood pressure. So,
well, yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. As a quick thank you, like not to say too much, but hey, B, thanks, B.
Dude, thank you.
Thank y'all for even figuring out a reason that it was cool enough to bring me on here. Because I'm like the unknown.
This will not be the last time we see your face. We will see you many more times.
Oh, they can't see my face yet because you know that I got the whole Batman thing going.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that next show. We'll talk about that next show. Why I have my face for a reason. There's a reason behind this.
Okay, that works for us. Fella. We just know it's you.
Man, call me, man. Text me. Let me know how it all went, man. I was just talking. Maybe I said too much. I said too little. But
you're perfect.
It's perfect. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin, you're Fiji.
On Wisconsin.
Be Fiji.